to frame the argument of feminism and the equality of women. So, that was right in there. There was no issue. He was right there. I can't think of anything else right now, Dennis. Have I answered?
Yeah,
Yeah, no. It was very, very clear. He was, early fan of Wright. Yes, it's very clear throughout his career that he is understanding of the Negro experience. Yes.
One of the postmodern criticisms of Algren would be, he's one of those older, tough guys, white guys, writer like Hemingway. Possibly, some people might even see him as racist. And I'm saying surface, not really digging in.
Yeah.
And prejudging. And so there is to some degree, I think, he's not necessarily the canon now.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we see coming out of academia now, there certainly doesn't seem to be any trend moving towards reading that type of writing. And so I guess what I'm getting at is that to some degree, history has, the recent history of academia has kind of helped further along the fact that he hasn't been being read. People have kind of prejudged and written it off still. Yes,
I agree with that completely. Whenever I taught Algren, I taught for many years, and whenever I taught Algren, it was the only time it was being taught at that university. Or no one ever put him on a reading list. So no. But I think a lot of that had to do with the new criticism, the university becoming enmeshed in the Cold War attitudes at some universities. Like even in the 80s at the Bronx Community College, I had to sign a loyalty oath. I didn't. I just kept saying I forgot it. But it was still around even there. So that the academic world is heavily infected by government. Obviously, they give it a lot of money. Any other questions?
Well, what brought you to write the book? Because there's something happening. 2 movies being made about him. You've written the book. All these things. People are,
new biography coming out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So something is happening that people are. I'm very pissed off that I just started reading him. I'm hearing about him now and just learning about him, and that we were kept from him all these years, but people are starting to hear.
Yeah, I do not know how I came to pick Never Come Morning off of the City College Library shelf, but I did. And I had just, I got an MA in creative writing there. I was publishing poetry at the time. And so his work, when I read Never Come Morning, I was stunned that I'd never heard of him. And it used to be a book, now this was all pre-computer days, used to be a book called American Literary Manuscripts. And you could look up in this book who held the manuscripts. And it said that Algren's were at Ohio State. So I wrote to them, and they wrote back and they said, we would be delighted if you could come. No one's come to look at them, we have everything. So, because of the Simone de Beauvoir angle, I figured correctly that I might be able to get a contract, and I did. So, so it was really happenstance.
Yeah. Did you feel about Nelson differently at the end of your work than at the beginning? If so, how? How did your view shift?
He had, I too, after college, had sort of been adrift in the U.S., if you will, in the late 70s and early 80s. I lived in New Mexico. I lived in various places all around. And so I had that kind of identification with him. I'm sorry, can you just repeat your question again?
How did your view of Algren shift over the course of your work?
Algren demanded compassion of me. There was and so I grew as a person as I learned more and more about him. At first, his life interested me because of some of these parallels of the wanderings, and also because of the quality of the work. So at first, he was not, to me, a totality. He was an enigma. I didn't really know that much. But over the course of writing about him and coming to understand how he operated, I just came to feel him very, very deeply. I don't know, and the best way that I can express that is he demanded compassion from me. That's really all I can say. Yeah. Okay, anybody else?
I don't know if I might be the only one interested in the whole room of this, but you've known Art Shea a long time, so I wonder, what do you think of his photography and as a person?
Oh, come on. He's fantastic. No, I first met Art. Art was terrific when I came out here and worked on the Algren book. I was staying at some kind of women's residence called the Eleanor House. And, he picked me up at the airport, and he really helped me to understand Nelson, and he also helped me when Studs Terkel, after an interview with Studs Terkel, all I had were generalizations. I couldn't fit them anywhere into the book because I had no idea when they'd happen. And so Art helped me get a second interview with Studs Terkel, and was very helpful in many, many ways. He's really important, and his book on Nelson Algren's Chicago is really seminal.
Thank you for answering that for me personally.
Okay. There's one more. Yes, Mark.
I want to thank Bettina for helping us on the film, especially in those early years. Bettina helped us tremendously getting an interview with Kurt Vonnegut.
Oh, really? I don't remember that. Okay, good. Glad I did.
And Dave Counts.
Oh, yeah. I love Dave. He was great. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.
We have two more speakers, and after they finish, then we'll have a panel discussion with Bettina and Hugh and Peter. So we'll have time for more questions after they're done too. So my next pleasure is to introduce Hugh Iglarsh. He is a Chicago-based editor, writer, and theater critic. His essays and reviews appear in New City, Counterpunch, and other periodicals, and he has given presentations on a variety of literary and political topics at different locations.